I spent 100 days in Stardew Valley, so for this challenge I had a few goals, which was to try and get as close to completing the community centre as possible, to make 500,000 G in total earnings, and to get to the bottom of the mines. Before this video starts, so if you do enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, because this video took so long to make and it really helps to support the channel. So yeah, let's get into it. Day 1 started with character creation before getting the parsnips that Lewis gave to me and planting them. I then went over to Pierre's and bought some more seeds that I went back to the farm to plant. I did some foraging and I cut down some trees just to finish off the day, and that managed to get me to level 1 foraging. I watered all the crops that I planted on the previous day on day 2, and then I went and got a fishing rod from Willie and I used it to do a bit of fishing. I eventually decided to go and get the training rod, which just gives me a bigger fishing bar, which helps with fishing earlier on. And because I'd done a lot of fishing, I got all the way to level 2. On day 3 I decided to clear some room on the farm and gather some wood because it was raining and I didn't have to use energy on watering crops. But I did eventually run out of energy. I then went and completed the quest to meet everyone that you get at the start of the game, and after giving Sebastian a gift that I don't think he really liked, I got the money for completing the quest. To be honest, I didn't really know what to do on day 4, so I just decided to spend it fishing to get some money for all the strawberries that I want to buy from the egg festival. Day 5 was the day Marnie asked me about adopting a cat, and of course I had to say yes. I then harvested the parsnips that I'd grown, and I went to check the cart, not really expecting much, and I got an ancient seed, which I of course had to buy. I also bought a fiddlehead fern to save me having to worry about it later on before getting the community centre cutscene and planting some potatoes that I bought. I made a scarecrow at the start of day 6 because I really didn't want crows taking my crops, and then I went to the wizard to unlock the community centre. Because I had the community centre unlocked now, I went and completed the spring crops bundle. I then went to the mines for the first time because they were unlocked yesterday, and I used some of the copper that I gathered there to make a furnace. Day 7 started with the potato harvest before going back to the mines to gather ores. I did nearly lose all my health in the mines, but luckily I managed to survive. I then spent the rest of the day smelting copper and gathering wood. I just spent day 8 fishing just so that I'd be able to get a bit more money for some things that I'd want to buy in the future. Day 9, I donated some stuff to the museum, I then opened some geodes and I went back to the museum to donate more stuff. After that I went to the mines to try and make a bit more progress, and I managed to gather some copper and make it all the way to level 25. On day 10 I went back to the mines to get some more materials for sprinklers that I'd want for the 13th, and somehow I managed to get to floor 40, so now I'll be able to start getting iron, which will allow me to be able to make the sprinklers that I want. My potatoes and green beans were done on day 11, and after harvesting them I went back to doing even more fishing. I just needed a load of money and I wanted to level up the skill as much as possible early on so that fishing for the harder fish later on would be much easier. Day 12 was back in the mines to get iron for sprinklers, and I actually got quite lucky and got a coffee bean from a dust sprite, which could be helpful for slightly faster movement speed later on. When I'd finished I had loads of iron from all the mining, and I also got a level up in both combat and mining. Unfortunately I actually lost the footage for day 13, which is really annoying because it was quite a big day. To summarise it, I basically got the cauliflower I needed for the spring crops bundle, and then went over to the egg festival and bought a load of strawberries. After completely destroying everybody else in the egg hunt, I returned to the farm and quickly planted everything. I did lose a bit of footage for day 14, but all I did in that time was complete the spring crops bundle. I spent the rest of the day clearing the farm, and I actually had the footage for this bit, and I made a bit of fertiliser with some of the sap that I'd gathered. It was the start of salmonberry season on day 13, where loads of salmonberries just started appearing all over the map, so I ran around for most of the day collecting them for really easy early game energy. I also found Robin's axe while doing it, so I returned that to her to complete the quest and get 250 G. I made some spring seeds with the forageables that I gathered at the start of day 16 because they tend to be worth more than just the forageables themselves. I also went and got more salmon berries for energy, and because I sold the spring seeds and a few other things, I made nearly 3000 G. On day 17 I decided to head back to the iron levels of the mines to try and get more materials for sprinklers because I was tired of having to use so much energy watering all of my strawberries every morning. Fortunately I didn't get much iron, but I did make it down to floor 50. After trying to get a bit more iron, I headed home and realised I could complete the adventurous bundle, so I went and completed it. At the start of day 18 I noticed that a crow had taken one of my strawberries, which I wasn't very happy about, so I made 2 more scarecrows to hopefully prevent this from happening again. I then went and unlocked the other part of the beach, which allows me to get a lot of valuable items like coral. After gathering that I went to the lake to do more fishing, and I managed to get level 5 fishing, and because of it I chose a fisher profession. On day 19 I got a letter from Jodie asking for a cauliflower, so I decided to give one to her for a bit of extra money. I then went over to the travelling cat and I got insanely lucky and got a red cabbage seed, which basically saved me having to wait until summer year 2 to be able to complete the community centre. I then went back to the mines and got to floor 55, and I bought the first backpack upgrade because having a really small backpack is really annoying. I completed the blacksmith's bundle on day 20, and then I just went back to the mines to gather some more materials. I used some of the ores that I got from mining to make some sprinklers at the start of day 21. I also went and bought a fishing rod upgrade from Willie, and I just used it to do a bit of fishing. Day 22 was strawberry harvest day. I gathered all my strawberries before then processing some geodes to get some items for the museum. I spent the rest of the day just gathering materials materials from the farm. Day 23, Demetrius asked me about getting fruit bats or mushrooms in the cave on the farm, and I went with fruit bats to help with the community centre, and just because they're better. I then went to the mines and I got to floor 77 before I had to leave. Day 24 was the flower dance, so after getting some coffee beans, I went over and I just kind of awkwardly stood in the corner. Because I have no friends, so I didn't have anyone to dance with. I decided that I wanted to build a silo on day 25, so I went to the mines to get copper ore, and I managed to get an ancient seed, which means I now have 2 in spring year 1. Incredible early game though. More strawberries are ready at the start of day 26, but I decided to save them in a chest until I was level 5 farming so that they'd sell for more. I then went and got a silo built, I processed some geodes and donated some stuff to the museum. And I finished day 26 with just clearing some more room out on the farm for buildings. I spent day 27 fishing to get money for summer, and when I was fishing I got a fire quartz, and that was the last item that I needed to complete the boiler room, so I went and completed it, and now that means I'll unlock the minecarts. Day 28 just started with sorting out my completely messed up sprinklers so that they'd be ready for summer. When I'd finished doing that, I went back to the mines and I managed to get to level 80, so I'll now be able to get gold. It was now summer, so I started day 29 by preparing the farm and just clearing it up before I then went and bought loads of different crops from Pierre, and I also bought an apple sapling for the community centre. I then went back to the farm and planted them all before checking the fruit bat cave and doing some community centre donations. I decided to do even more fishing on day 30, but this time it was to get some of the new summer fish. But halfway through, I realised that I could buy the Iridium Rod because I got to level 6 fishing, so I went down to Willie's and I bought it and then just did more fishing in the ocean. I did even more fishing on day 31 because of the rain and just to be able to get some more summer fish. Because I got the red snapper, I could complete the ocean fishing bundle, so I went and did that, and then I tried to get the legendary fish for summer, but unsurprisingly, I failed. I went and got a coop built on day 32 so that I'd be able to get some chickens before I then went and completed the summer crops bundle for the community centre, and I also went over to Clint's to buy some copper for some mayonnaise machines. I then went back over to the farm to make some preserved jars and to use the copper to make mayonnaise machines, and I finished the day just doing even more mining, trying to get stuff like stone and copper. My first engine fruit had grown at the start of day 33, so I went and harvested it, and then I went back down to the mines. After mining for a bit, I went to Clint's to process some more geodes, and I donated some stuff that I got from the geodes to the museum. I also got a crop fairy in the night, which basically made some of my crops grow fully, which will be really helpful. I started day 34 by harvesting the crops that had been fully grown, and then I went and cleared out some more room on the farm. I also donated some stuff to the community centre, and I gathered some wood for things like preserved jars, buildings, stuff like that. On day 35 I went over to Pierre's to sell a bit of stuff, and I used that money to buy some chickens from Marnie, because my coop had finished being built. I also then went over to Clint's and got my axe upgraded with that money, and I went to the mines to try and make some more progress. Unfortunately the footage for day 36 did corrupt, but I only really spent the day fishing, so it's not that bad. Day 37 I got my copper axe back and I got my pickaxe upgraded. I then used my new copper axe to gather some hardwood from the farm, and also just to get rid of some of the really annoying stumps that were all over the place. Day 37 started with a blueberry and red cabbage harvest. I also got the first eggs from my chickens, which was exciting, and then I went and did some fishing to try and get some of the new summer fish that I still haven't managed to get. Day 39 was the day of the luau, so I decided to go over to it, and I put a gold sturgeon in the soup, which gets the best response, which basically means that my friendship increases with all the villagers. Unfortunately, day 40's footage also corrupted, which is really annoying, but basically to summarise what happened, I completed the summer crops bundle after getting the last thing I needed, and then I went mining and got to 495. Day 41 started with harvesting some melons before I then planted some more that I bought from Pierre's, and then I went back down to the mines. I managed to get to floor 100 and get the star drop there, and I also got to floor 105 before I had to leave. When I left, I went and just donated a bit of stuff to the community centre that I'd gathered. And day 42 I harvested some more bluebirds before then going over to Robin's and getting a barn built so that I'll be able to get cows. I also made some cheese presses so that I'd be able to change some of the milk that I got from the cows into cheese. And then I gathered some wood from the farm so that I'd be able to get more buildings. On day 43 I got some of the gold corn that I needed for the quality crops bundle. And then I went mining, and after a while and after quite a difficult mining trip, I got to floor 120 and got the skull key. I processed some geodes and then donated that stuff to the museum on day 44, and then I went mining to try and complete the Just Right monster eradication goal, which gets me the Burglar Ring, which is basically just a really useful item that allows me to get more drops from enemies. On day 45 I pretty much just got cows from Marnie and then farmed dust sprites. Day 46 was yet another blueberry harvest, and then back to the mines to farm dust sprites again. Day 47 was a busy day. I completed 3 of the 4 vault bundles, and I spent a while fishing for money and to get the crimson fish. After catching a crimson fish, which surprised me, I wasn't expecting to be honest, I went back and sold a bunch of stuff just to get me some more money. Day 48 started with buying loads of coal from Clint, and also getting my pickaxe upgraded again. I then went and made some tappers, and I gathered some wood from Sunset Forest. I then used all the materials I gathered on day 48 to just make some more preserve jars. I decided to spend day 49 doing a bit of fishing in the mines because there's quite a few different types of fish that you can get there, and I'm just not really bothered to try and catch any of them. them. On day 50 I got my upgraded pickaxe back from Clint and I used it to destroy the really annoying massive rocks that are all over the farm. I then went and did a bit of mining and I managed to complete the artisan bundle. Day 51 was spent giving gifts to people and gathering even more materials. I also got to level 8 farming, which unlocks the recipe for kegs, which is going to be an amazing way of making money later on. Day 52 was just spent in the mines gathering a bunch more copper and stone. On day 53 I got my second harvest of melons and then I went and completed the 25,000 G vault bundle, which now means that the bus will be unlocked to the desert. After that I spent a bit of time fishing and I also completed a quest for Sebastian to get a bit more money. On day 54 I donated a bit of stuff to the community centre before I headed over to the desert. I gathered some forageables and then I headed down to the skull caverns, but I didn't manage to make much progress because I just wasn't prepared at all. But I did end up fishing for the sandfish, which was one of the items that I still needed for the community centre. I just went back to the skull caverns on day 25, but I was a bit more prepared this time and I managed to get past level 25, which means that I completed the quest for Mr. QI. Day 56 was the last day of summer, so I spent a while sorting out my farm just to get ready for fall. And I also got 10,000 G for completing the quest for Mr. QI. And then bought a lobster from the travelling cart to complete the crab pot bundle. I did a bit of fishing and then I went over to the Dance of Moonlight Jellies. Day 57 was the start of fall, so I sorted out my farm a bit and then I went over to Pierre's to buy some crops to plant. I then went back to the farm, used some fertiliser and planted all the crops that I got. I started day 58 with doing a bit of foraging and I also unlocked the quest board and accepted the fragments of the past quest. I then completed the fall foraging bundle and I went mining to try and make progress towards completing the quest, which basically just requires you to get 100 pieces of bone. On day 59 I went fishing and I managed to catch a legendary fish for the angler, and I also donated some stuff to the community centre that I got while I was fishing. Day 60 was just spent in the mines trying to complete the quest. Day 61 I donated some stuff to the community centre and then back down to the mines trying to complete the quest. Day 62 I went mining again and I actually completed the quest this time, meaning I got 3,500 G. I then went and just gathered a bit of wood so that I'd be able to upgrade my coop to a big coop. On day 63 I got my watering can upgraded and then I just gathered even more wood. I was gathering a lot of wood at this point in the video, but it's just because it's so useful. I then used that wood that I gathered just to make kegs to make me even more money. Day 64's footage also corrupted, which is really annoying, but I just gathered some cranberries and blackberries, and I also got a quest from the wizard for ectoplasm. Day 65 was spent fishing, and I got the remaining fish that I needed to complete all the fishing bundles, which now means that I'm able to unlock panning. My big coop had finished being built on day 66, so I went and got some ducks from mining, and I also got a fish pond built. I then went to try and complete the wizard's quest, and managed to get the item for it on the first day trying, which really surprised me. I normally get really unlucky with these. On day 67 I started the day by giving the ectoplasm to the wizard to get some money, and then spent the rest of the day just designing my farm trying to make it look a bit nicer. Day 68 was spent in the mines trying to make more progress towards the dust sprite monster eradication goal, but because you need to kill 500 of them, I was nowhere near completing it. I harvested some more cranberries and then I completed the fodder bundle on day 69. I then went and got my watering can back, I processed some geodes and I donated a lot of stuff to the museum. I then spent the rest of the day fishing to try and get some fish for the fish pond that I got built. On day 70 I got my first harvest of pumpkins and I managed to complete a load of different community centre bundles because of it. I then went over to Pierre's to buy a load more crops to plant, and I also bought the backpack upgrade, which will really help. And then I went to Robin's and just bought the big barn upgrade. Day 71 was mostly just spent gathering materials for upgrades, and I also made some more tappers with the wood that I gathered. I also got to level 10 farming and I chose the artisan profession to make all of my artisan goods worth 40% more, which is incredible. Day 72 was the Stardew Valley fair, but I completely forgot about it. So I quickly threw some things together for it and I went to it. Somehow I actually managed to win, but I ended up losing all my tokens on the spin wheel, so I didn't end up getting the star drop. I got some goes at the start of day 73 and then I went and did a bit of fishing to try and get an albacore for a quest. But after not getting any, I went and bought some food from Gus just to help in the skull caverns. Day 74 was yet another cranberry harvest, and after getting them I went to the skull caverns again because I saw it was good luck, and I got all the way to floor 37, which is quite good to be honest. I pretty much just spent day 75 gathering wood to be honest, so that I'd be able to buy a deluxe coop. I used the wood I gathered on the previous day to get a deluxe coop on day 76, and I spent the rest of the day mining for gold so that I'd be able to make more quality sprinklers for stuff like when I unlock the greenhouse. Day 77 was another good luck day, so that meant back to the skull caverns to gather more materials. Day 78 was quite a big day. I made a seed maker so then I'd be able to make some of my ancient fruit into ancient seeds to plant in the greenhouse when I got it. After doing that I went and processed some geodes, I got a gold pickaxe upgrade, and I donated some more stuff to the museum. I really wanted to get level 10 fishing, so I decided to just spend all of day 79 fishing to make progress towards it. On day 80 my deluxe coop was done, so I bought some rabbits for it, and then I also got my upgraded pickaxe back from Clint. I then went to the mines to use my pickaxe and also to try and complete a quest for bug meat that I got from Willie. I spent all of day 81 and 82 just in the mines trying to complete the quest for Willie. Day 83 started with a huge pumpkin harvest before I went to the mines and managed to finish the bug meat quest for Willie. I went to the Spirit Seed Festival, and after going through the maze I managed to get the universally loved golden pumpkin. For my last cranberry harvest on day 84, and I I also gathered as much hay as possible ready for winter. After doing that, I completed Willie's quest, and because I sold a lot of stuff, I made over 180,000 G. Day 85 was the first day of winter, so I did a bit of foraging and I donated some stuff to the community centre. I then went and got a magnifying glass so that I'd be able to get secret notes. Then I got my steel axe upgrade from Clint, which I then used to go to the secret woods and gather some hardwood. Day 86 was a massive day. I got a rabbit's foot that I needed, so I went and donated that to the community centre to complete a bundle, and I managed to complete the animal bundle, which means I completed all the pantry bundles and unlocked the greenhouse the next day. I also went to the mines and got the last item I needed for the winter foraging bundle. So I went and completed that, and that meant I'd also unlocked the quarry the next day because I completed all the crafts room bundles. I started day 87 by getting my greenhouse ready for planting and by buying some starfruit seeds for the greenhouse from Sandy. I then went back to plant the seeds, and I also did some mining at the quarry to get some ores. I spent most of day 88 in the mines trying to complete the cave patrol quest, and when I completed it I got 6,000 G. When I got back to the farm I also planted some winter seeds that I'd managed to make. I just spent day 89 gathering wood so that I'd be able to buy a deluxe barn. Day 90 I went and got my barn upgrade that I gathered wood for, and then I went over to Clint's after that to upgrade my hoe, and I also went fishing for the glacier fish. But because it's like this, I had absolutely no chance of catching it. How am I supposed to catch that? That's ridiculous. On day 91 I bought a poppy from the travelling cat that I still needed for the community centre, and after getting a cork bobber from Willie and getting some staircases from the desert trader, I went to attempt to catch a glacier fish again. And because I managed to get extremely lucky, I actually managed to catch it this time. On day 92 I basically just went to the Festival of Ice. I did do the ice fishing competition there though, which I won, and I got a few items for winning. I got my upgraded steel hoe back on day 93, and then I just went fishing to try and get to level 10 again. On day 94 my barn had finished being built, so I went and got some pigs, and then I went back to the skull caverns, but unfortunately a stupid iridium bat made me lose all my health. Day 95 started with a bit of fishing before I then went and bought a load of wood from Robin, and I got a house upgrade with that wood. I then spent the rest of the day just doing a bit of foraging. Day 96 I harvested my winter seeds that I'd finished growing, and then I went into the regular mines for some more gold. I also managed to get a nautilus shell from the beach, which allowed me to complete the field research bundle, which was one of the last bundles I needed to complete. On day 97 I went and did a bit more fishing in the mines to try and get the ice pit, but after getting unlucky I just fished in the lake instead. Day 98 my house upgrade was done, so I spent a while getting all the items that I needed to make the 2 recipes for the community centre, and after making them I donated them and a poppy. I spent most of day 99 gathering hardwood to complete a quest for Robin, which got me 2,000 G, and then I went to the night market and I got the pearl from the mermaid show. On day 100 I sold a load of stuff like mayonnaise to hopefully make me a lot of money, and then I went fishing to try and get to level 10, and after going to the night market I went to bed and actually got to level 10 fishing. So I thought that I'd just do a bit of a farm tour. To be honest, I didn't really design my farm very much, but I just started doing a farm tour anyway. So here we have all my preserve jars, which I just use for stuff like roe, and also just for some, like if I had any spare crops left over that I just wanted to process for a bit more money. And then I obviously have my kegs and my crystallarium, which is getting me jade. And then we come over here, there's my deluxe coop, which I've quite a lot of animals. I think, is that 12 animals? I'm not sure. And I also got an auto petter actually. Yeah, I got an auto petter from one of my runs in the skull caverns, so yeah, that was pretty good. And then there's obviously my deluxe barn down there, and there's also this greenhouse which has a bunch of starfruit ready to harvest, but I'm not going to harvest that now. Then there's my fish pond here, which is the sturgeon pond. Then I've just got my tappers down here. Yeah, I've just got some trees with tappers on down there. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, because it really helps to support the channel, and this video took so long to make. And also, if you want to see more content from me, I have a Twitch, twitch.tv/forestsword. It'll be on screen now and also in the description. So yeah, if you want more content from me, then I'm going to be streaming over there probably 3 or 4 times a week. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Bye!